Richie, we talked about this, or we just kind of alluded to it earlier. How worried are you that Florida State brings Mike Norvell back in 2026? Like
Extremely.
Tell me more.
Extremely. I think the buyout is the biggest thing, and I think college coaches, the best job in the world is to get a multi-year contract as a head college football coach, because your pay is basically guaranteed regardless of how terrible you are. I am terrified of the idea of Mike Norvell coming back next year, and he somehow finds a way to upset Alabama again and gets the hype train going again. No, I think that, honestly, I hate to even say this, I think there's a better than 60% chance that Mike Norvell is the head coach at Florida State in 2020.
Really? Okay. And I'm way lower than that.
I'm just saying, based on what I can only go based on what I've seen and the statements from Michael Alford. I'm terrified if Mike Norvell comes back, but actually thinking about it more, it'd actually make next season very stressless, because I'll be like, okay, we got a crappy coach and we're probably going to lose most of our games. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get rid of him this year and we'll go from there.
I am way lower than 60, but I think it's higher than 0. I think it's probably closer to like 25 would be where I'm at.
High.
25% that they. Wait, you just said 60%.
Or that low, excuse me, that low.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait a minute, bro. 40% lower, 35% lower than you. You threw me off there. Yeah, I think it would take quite a few wins. And if you look at the rest of the schedule, like, I hate to play this game, but while we're on here, I will pull up just quickly. Like, when you look at what Florida State has left,
rapid fire wins and losses. Let's go.
Well, I want to look at, while we're doing this, I'll just look at the FPI, which I know we have different thoughts on, how good or bad the FPI is. But the Wake Forest game, because all these teams you play are terrible too, right? Like, I know that we're terrible and we're all miserable, but like, it's not like you're playing a bunch
outside of Clemson. Yeah.
8. I mean, I don't think they're any good either. And if I don't know what Cade's status is, you got an 83% chance to beat Wake Forest. And I'm not predicting the game just yet, but I do think you beat Wake Forest. Do you have that as a win?
No.
Okay. So you have that as a loss.
I think we're snowballing.
FPI has a 47% chance to beat Clemson because of how terrible they've been too.
It's a loss.
You've got an 80.8% chance to beat Virginia Tech, who is awful.
That's a win.
And you have a 66% chance to beat NC State.
In Raleigh, that's a loss.
And against Florida, 43%. Like, even your two like tough games on the road that you're supposed to lose, you're like a coin flip in both of them. And so my worry is more so he's going to get saved by playing a bunch of bad teams down the stretch.
This is the conundrum that I find myself in, TJ, is that when I watch the games, I'm 100% in wanting to watch Florida State win. But looking forward, I almost want us to lose every game. But the second 7:30 comes on next Saturday for kickoff, I'm going to be all in on Florida State, decked out in Florida State gear from Garnet and Gold, and just cheering my butt off. But as I sit here right now, I kind of want us to just lose out on the season just so we can move on to the next era. That's kind of where I'm at.
Speaking of Garnet, listen, have you seen this campus? Like, this is not an ad within the show, but it kind of is. Have you seen this Campus Course brand? They're all over Instagram and stuff.
I've not.
It's the one, it's like golf polos and stuff. They do have other stuff too, but it lets you like customize. You said gear, and they sell this at Garnet and Gold, but it lets you, if you go on their website, you can customize what you get. So I got another shirt that has the, you know what? Actually, I did give them a shout out the other day. So if I can find it real quick, I'll throw it up on the screen just so you can see it, Richie. But they let you put on, here you go. Here, check this out. I know this is right in the middle of the segment, but they let you put on the gear like wherever you want. So like I put like a spear here on this one. I got the Seminole head here on this one on the right. This has the Seminoles, like just the word of it over there. So go check out Campus Course if you want. But yeah, same thing. I'll be decked out in this gear. But you know why I'm not cheering for us to lose? Because I did that last week and it didn't help me. Like nothing. Like at the end of the day, I was like, oh well, if we lose this, we'll get a new coach, and it didn't even help us do that. And so I don't know. Now, certainly, if they lose, what are we 3-4? I think if they lose 2 more games, I don't think they bring him back after 6-6.
I hope not.
I don't think it's outside of the. Now, this team is not good. And if they quit, if this implosion that we kind of are seeing happen in real time, the cracks that are there, if that continues to manifest itself, they will lose more of these games down the stretch than they win. And then that'll be enough. They'll go 2-3 down the stretch or worse, and they'll get a new coach. But I'm not confident they do, because these other teams that we're playing are like, they have the same exact issues. Clemson, they've quit. NC State has quit. Virginia Tech is absolutely putrid. Florida, let's see what they look like without their coach these next few weeks before we call it on that one. And then Wake is objectively terrible. Now, Stanford was objectively terrible too. I actually do think we win this weekend. I don't know if I'm going to predict that when we get to Wednesday or not. Probably go the other way, just the Harlan route on predicting games for the rest of the year. But I think there's certainly a pathway where you could win 4 of these games down the stretch and go 7-5, and the admin kicks the can down the road. I think that's a pretty terrible decision. Now, if you go 5-0 and you finish 8-4, they ain't firing this coach after 8-4.
No.
I just want you to know. And whether you think they should or shouldn't, I mean, I still would be in the camp of you should, because you just pissed away a 9, 10, 11 win season by losing 3 one-score games because your coach is terrible. But
look what Penn State just did.
Yeah,
that's all I needed to see.
Well,
Penn State is a serious program.
Yeah,
Florida State is not a serious program right now.
Yeah, they take football seriously at that school. And look, I hate to say it, they take football seriously at Florida too.
Yeah,
you know. Did you see the reports of what they were offering Lane? $13.5 million. I don't know how true that is or not. Buddy Martin reported that, but he'd be the highest paid coach in college football. And so I don't know if the Lane would work out or not there, but my gosh, they at least care. And Miami, listen, I hate them too. Miami, same way. They got nationally embarrassed on College Game Day one morning where Herb Street just ripped them a new one about how they didn't care about athletics. And what did they do? They went out and got a guy that could recruit the heck out of players. He's not very good on the field, but he's pretty good at getting guys in there. And they win a lot of games because of that now. And so, I mean, Mario has Miami in a place where 10 wins is a disappointing season, Richie. They won 10 games last year and they were disappointed. They're going to win 10 or 11 this year, and they're going to be disappointed if they don't go to the playoff. So I'd like to have those problems. I'd like to be looking at a 10-win season saying I'm disappointed. I'd like to be looking at a 7-1 record that they are right now and saying I'm disappointed.
There was a point in Florida State fandom, as someone who grew up in the 90s, where 10 wins was a disappointment. Yeah. I'm like, what the heck? We didn't win 11. We didn't go undefeated. We didn't play for a national title. I remember we played for a national title 3 straight years, 98, 99, and 2000. And, you know, anything other than that. So I'm spoiled growing up when I did as a Florida State fan. But yeah, all these other programs, like, you know, if the thought of going potentially 4-8, 5-7 would disgust them. And it disgusts me as a Florida State fan, knowing that's what's probably going to happen, even with a horrible schedule coming up.
It worries me. I'm at 25%. I think they go 2-3 down the stretch. I think they lose to Florida, Clemson, and NC State. I think they beat Wake, maybe beat Virginia Tech, and 5 wins is not good enough, right? 8 wins this year probably wasn't good enough with how bad the schedule is, but I don't think they win enough to get it done. But man, there is a concern that this admin that I mean, Alfred's included in that. This admin that just kicks the can down the road and doesn't want to, for whatever reason, do the right thing. I think I've done speculation, Richie. I've talked with people. I've had my own thoughts, everything else. I think the reason they didn't move off of Norvell is just hoping that he would get to 7 or 8 wins so that they wouldn't have to. Like, I think that's what it truly came down to. It was a, you know what, or get off the pot, and they didn't want to yet. And so they got off the pot and they said, hopefully he can find a way to get a few more wins so we don't have to do this right now. Knowing that he probably couldn't, and they would have to make the change at the end of the year. But I do think that this is probably the best case scenario for FSU right now. Internally, not what's really best for the program, is just kicking the can down the road another year. So hopefully I'm wrong on that.
And that mentality is loser mentality, TJ. Like, that's like me having an employee who's leads in a department or a section of a department, and they're not hitting their numbers, they're not doing what they need to do, but it's just good enough to where I don't really have cause. No, I am going to find cause to get rid of you. That's the mentality you need to have. And if you're a head coach making $10 million a year, and you cannot figure out how to at least get to a bowl game, which he might. Again, the schedule is trash. He might get to a bowl game. But even then, after beating Alabama, guess what? You raised your expectations. That's like a salesman making a huge sale and then selling nothing else the rest of the quarter. Like, you need to live up on what you've shown you can do. Mike has not, and he will not, and he cannot do that. He needs to be gone. I just don't know if he will be.
I am not cheering for Wake Forest, but there would be benefits to the program overall if they just went ahead and dropped this game this weekend. So
Go Demon Deacons.
no, I won't go that far. I will cheer for us to win, but it doesn't really matter what I cheer for. At the end of the day, it's the guy that's running the show that clearly can't get it done. So quick reminder as we take off, Sleeper has a free $20 entry for you if you use our code DFNS on their app. Check their terms and conditions because terms of use do apply. But again, you don't have to deposit anything. Just go get your free $20 entry by using our code DFNS on the Sleeper app today.